Say, look, folks, I'm sitting outside, right? And I was watching some stuff on Antonio Brown, right? Everybody know who Antonio Brown is, the receiver from the NFL that's going through all these ups and downs in his life. And last night I got to talking with my son, and Antonio Brown said something that I've heard many young men who are in athletic sports, who are in sports, who are involved in sports, whether it's football, basketball, and you have these parents. You have these parents that drive you, that sometimes subconsciously live through you because you're able to capitalize on things that they didn't see, or they didn't have parents that showed them when they was younger, so they subconsciously lived through you, and they're living their highlights and everything through their kids. You know, they're living their superstar life through their kids because, you know, if the parent couldn't be a superstar, if the parent couldn't be a superstar through lack of wisdom and lack of right direction, guess what? You grow up as a parent and you think, man, only if I knew this when I was young. Now I got my baby boy and my baby girl, and I know what they need to do to become a star. Which subconsciously, I become a star as a parent. That's how a lot of parents think. They will never admit it, but that's how a lot of people think they live through their kids. With that being said, Antonio Brown said something in one of these little documentary things that he had said, and I heard a lot of kids say something along that line. He said, I feel like people only love me when I'm on that field, like when I'm producing. I don't feel like people love me like right now. Like I'm going through the ups and downs, and I'm telling people, man, I know where this is gonna end. I know my resurgence is coming. I know it's coming. Like everybody else looking at him like he crazy. But when he was on that field producing, everybody loved him. Everybody wanted to, he was doing the right thing. But now that he's in a place of uncertainty, things don't seem the same. You're starting to see who a lot of people is now. I've seen a lot of kids. I've been involved around a lot of youth sports. And I noticed a lot of kids, and my son came to me and my wife with the same thing. And he was like, you know, seeing a lot of people, he loved football. He loved it to death. But seeing a lot of people, young people retiring from CTE and a lack of cognitive skills and a lot of these things that are due to brain-related activities, who are retiring early, in great health and great shape, but mentally they're not always there. Mentally they're sluggish due to the impact from these sports. So he said, my son said to me and my wife, will y'all be mad at me if I told y'all I don't want to play football no more? Now my son's 13 years old, promising 13 years old, 6 foot, 250 pounds, defensive tackle, offensive tackle, nose guard. He pretty much does it all, dang near. So we see the tremendous upside. And when he came, because he wants to be an engineer. At first he wanted to be an agriculture engineer because we grew up around agriculture, but his love for football wanted him to change his process and be an engineer for sports medicine, which is great. Go improve the game. And he was like, well, if I quit football, would y'all be mad at me? And we stood for a second. And sometimes when you freeze as a parent, you have to look at yourself, you have to check yourself. Because that freeze that we had, through his 13-year-old eyes, he thought, see, they mad at me for even talking about quitting. So in a moment of silence, as a father, I had to check myself and say, son, with all the things that are going on, I'm glad you feel free to even come and feel comfortable enough to come to even talk to us about that, because that's the type of relationship and the openness that we want as parents. And if you really want to quit due to this issue, I'm not going to be mad at you. I'm not going to push you, because pushing you and then you do end up in one of those states, guess what? You only going to have me and mama. You know, granted you may have a wife, but I don't know how that situation may turn out, but mama and daddy is people that's going to never turn against you, no matter what state you in. So we thought about it. And I seen a lot of kids, man. I seen a lot of kids, you know, ask their parents, man, you know, they feel like they being pushed too hard. You got to understand, most of these kids have been playing these contact sports since they was 4 or 5 years old. Now, you granted, you go all the way through high school, that's 17, 18, you go all the way through college. If you stay the whole 4 years and get a degree, that's 21, 22. You know what I'm saying? Then you go and pursue a life in these professional sports, that's another 10 years. Your life has been taken on collision and collision and collision. We have to start listening to these kids. We have to start giving these kids a break. Yeah, I understand us as parents can be like, oh, well, I survived through this, I survived through that. Well, guess what? Just because you survived don't mean your kids are going to survive. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not telling nobody to go soft on their kids, but you just got to listen to your kids at times. And sometimes you got to let them kids have their day. Especially, they may not know how to articulate what's going on with their body. Only thing they telling you is probably, I just need a break. You know what I'm saying? Listen to them. Maybe give them a break. Maybe give them a semester off. Maybe give them a little time off and come back and revisit that. Sometimes, but we got to listen to our kids, because it brings me back to Antonio Brown. Now, I'm not getting into all the antics of Antonio Brown, because mental health, I feel it. I really do feel like it has a lot to do with it. And I'm coming to people as parents, because when you talk about dealing with mental health, you're talking about letting people in here. Letting people in a sacred place, letting people in a dark place, letting people in a vulnerable place. 9 times out of 10, the people that you let in are the people that don't look like us. You know what I'm saying? They look like, quote unquote, what people call the enemy when you're talking about people like us. That's where great parenting comes in. Because when you're a great parent and you have that openness with your kid, and you talk to your kid and you listen to your kid and you see your kid through that process, you are their therapist. You know what I'm saying? When they dealing with mental issues and they dealing with pressure, you are their therapist. You are the therapist. You know what I'm saying? That they can call on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and not worrying about getting paid and worrying about being on a time limit. You are that therapist. Especially when you're pushing your kids through these links. Mental health is real, folks. Mental illness is real. And you have so many of these people, and then they saying seek help, seek help, seek help, seek help, seek help, seek help. And all they do is see people who sit them down, talk to them for a few hours, and charge them a hell of a lot of money. And we see no changes. So the help doesn't seem genuine. And all they do is, final result is put them on medicine. You got to understand, man, mental health is a real deal, and I'm not going to sit here and go into all the different mental type issues and illnesses that they are. But as parents, when we're raising these kids, and just looking at the whole Antonio Brown situation, now looking at the whole Delonte West situation that just popped up again, so many of our kids go and play these games, get this money early, deal with these pressures, and don't have solid rock in their corner. Don't have solid foundation in their corner. Don't have solid ground in their corner. The reality of it is, man, these therapists and stuff that you send these people to, and they pay all this money, these people are not solid foundation. These people are not solid foundation. A lot of these people just do it for the check, man. You just another patient in and another patient out. Your family supposed to be your solid foundation. Those supposed to be the people that you can lean on when things are not right. So when you have these people that show prominence and show great potential in these kids, help these kids detox. Help these kids release that pressure. Help these kids understand on how to articulate what's going on, what they feeling. You gotta invest time into that before you get another case of somebody who got a lot of money and who lacks brain capacity, who lacks decision making, and now they dealing with all the pressures of the world and they don't know how to act. The only way they know how to act is what? Volatile, acting out, lashing out, always in the defensive, always aggressive. We have to help them. You know, it get back to that term where it says, you know, it takes a village to raise a kid. Yeah, it takes a village to raise a kid, but sometimes as parents, you gotta sift through that village because there's a lot of manipulators that come with that village, especially when they see prominence. They only see what I can get from the situation. They don't care about that. And a lot of these players and a lot of these stars and a lot of these athletes and entertainers and it's just dealing with the pressures of being successful. A lot of people have their hand out. And a lot of people have done things for you. And a lot of people have let you stay over when you got kicked out. And a lot of people have, you know, had your back for a meal or two. And they expecting the whole world from you. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people get in that position to where they don't want to say no because little pivotal times in their life, people did help them. But you gotta show these people, and you gotta understand, just because a motherfucker let you sleep on their couch for a week don't mean you owe them $1 million. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't mean they got unlimited access to your money, unlimited access to your fame. You know what I'm saying? We have to be there especially as parents. We have to be in our kids' life who pursue these lives and who are in this limelight. We have to be there as security. We have to be there as guards. We have to be there to shut all this nonsense down. Because that's when you get stuff like this. You get these athletes who don't know how to act. It's all about the company you keep and the people you got around you. And most people in them situations are users and abusers. You know, so this goes out to the parents, man. If you got a kid and your kid show promise at a young age, you know, stay on them. Stay on them. Show them right from wrong. Your door need to always be open. Always. And tell them, man, you know, whenever somebody comes to them and they come to them in a weird vibe or in a weird motive, they can always come to you. Don't make no decisions unless you come to us, because we have what's best for your interests. And to end on this, to you parents, to you people who just use your kids in these positions, man, may y'all burn in the darkest hell, in the hottest hell. May y'all burn in the hottest hell, because you are worse than any stranger when you out here using and abusing your kid for what they got. You are the worst. So I'm gonna end on that, man. And the AB situation, the Antonio Brown situation, kind of opened my eyes, and seeing a lot of other, you know, athletes and stuff. It just opens your eyes. And I tell people like this: the issues that they having in their professional lives, 9 times out of 10, you take it back 2 stages. That's, in my opinion, you take it back 2 stages. The stuff that they dealing with in their professional lives, they were dealing with in their high school lives. If you catch them on the college stage, they was dealing with it when they was in junior high. So the same issues that they having problems with now at their current stage, you got to take it back 2 stages. You got to take it back 2 stages at least. You know, and Lord knows what a person dealt with in their youth. You know, and you got to show your kids how to deal with all the scrutiny and all the judgment. And you have to show them how not to let that judgment tear them down. You know, I get it, the whole world is talking down on you, because the whole world likes to see a good fall from grace. It's sad, but the whole world likes to see a good fall from grace. And you have to show them how to, you know, handle that fall from grace. But until then, man, I'm a side boss, man. Take care of your kids, take care of your minds, and when you get your money, take care of your money. Till then.